Kenyan senator and period poverty activist Gloria Orwoba. Some girls exchange sex for pads. The lawmaker was asked to leave parliament in February after arriving with blood-stained pants, in a country where 65% of women cannot afford menstrual products.
Here's a summary of the article.
Then she changed her mind. After all, she had been fighting for years against period poverty, the inability to pay for pads, tampons or cups, something that affects 65% of Kenyan women, despite the fact that this country was the first in the world to exempt those products from VAT, and against what she refers to as the stigma on menstruation, the shame of acknowledging the existence of the period. Although some media outlets claimed that the incident, as she calls it, was actually a planned performance, Orwoba insists, talking in the office where she works with an NGO and manages a free sanitary pad bank with private donors, that it was accidental. I have been talking to girls since as far back as 2007 about how to manage their periods, menstrual hygiene, that they should not feel ashamed. I've been telling girls in school that they should be proud of their periods. So at that moment, I had to tell myself, be proud of your period. Less than an hour later, she was asked to leave after an altercation in which another member of parliament accused her of failing to comply with the dress code. If we end period shaming, then girls can come and say, I don't have any pads. Can you help me? But as long as it's shameful, they are just going to suffer, figuring out how to manage their periods. That's where you have the sexual favors, the sex for pads. The law just says that the Ministry of Education should provide sanitary pads to girls in schools. Q. What do you think of the campaigns to distribute reusable pads in developing countries?
This post received a score of 5,300, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
That is so sad.
That's how tough life is in some part of the world. Sad.
It's a problem in the US as well.
Medicaid doesn't allow for hygiene products.
If anyone is interested, my wife volunteers for an organization called Days for Girls that gets feminine hygiene products to third world countries. They're always looking for donations and help with making hygiene kits. Link.
Thank you for sharing. I was trying to see what I could do to help.
You're welcome. It's a pretty amazing nonprofit.
I like how people in here are trying to dumb it down to simple obvious advice. As if these African women haven't thought of using cloth pads instead. I think it's safe to assume that they wouldn't be turning tricks for pads if that were an option. She also pretty clearly states that there are a lot of cultural reasons and a lack of sex education that leads to young women feeling embarrassed and ashamed of their periods, so it wouldn't be socially acceptable to hang used pads outside to dry on a clothesline.
It is absolutely mind-boggling to me that an inevitable, universal and natural process of the female human body is treated like an evil, embarrassing or dirty scarlet letter in some parts of the world, still, in 2023. It's fucking insane.
Not even just the female body. Necessary for the very existence of humanity. No reproductive cycle, no people at all.
And not one word about the anti-social rapist African men who demand women give sexual favors for hygiene products. Just horrible. I feel awful for these women.
This is one example of why you don't have to like or agree with something to UP vote it. UP vote for visibility. We need to be better.
God damn it, I am so privileged and sheltered.
As a woman, realizing how difficult it would be to get all those pads there consistently, I'm wondering why we aren't pushing for more menstrual cups.
They require hot running water to clean, air dry, and a comfort level, education, instruction for insertion. As a former ed of a menstrual equity and product nonprofit, this was suggested often to us. But certain cultures, communities, i.e. homeless, it's not an option.
Not to mention in some conservative culture, inserting something, even a menstrual cup, inside your own vagina will make one non-virgin. It doesn't matter in first world country maybe, but it's an aspect to be considered when pushing for cups in a third world country where social development lacks, and girls are mutilated.
Period products should be free. Full stop. That shit is expensive, and not optional.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes. and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.